it up in this room. Now, how you doing? I'm Buster Move Perkin. How you doing? Man, your wife was just talking about you, man. She love you.
But you're naked.
Oh, that's just so she can see the various muscle groups as I go through the various routines. You see that there? You can't see that with a turtleneck.
Story opens with a heartless couple pulls up to an orphanage in their car and throws their baby out onto the ground and drives away. And the next morning, Mr. Wong finds the abandoned child lying outside the orphanage.
Clap. And a black one. Ooh, you ugly black one too. Nobody ever come and say, give me the ugly black one.
And decides to name him Norbit. As time passes and Norbit grows older, he becomes friends with a beautiful little girl named Kate, who tries to teach him how to ride a bicycle, even though he keeps falling over and over again. But she never gives up on him, and the two of them do everything together until one day they decide they should get married.
I think it's time for us to kiss now.
So they kiss under an old tree and declare themselves husband and wife in their own innocent way, living happily until their joy suddenly ends when, 2 weeks later, a couple adopts Kate and takes her away to their home, leaving Norbit alone again. 5 years later, when Norbit is playing on the playground, two mean twin brothers show up and start bullying and beating him. But suddenly, a big, rough-looking girl named Rasputia appears, scares the twins away, and saves Norbit. Then immediately announces, without Norbit permission, that she is now his girlfriend, and from that moment on, she sticks to him like glue. All the kids are terrified of Rasputia, so they start including Norbit in every game and showing him respect just to stay on her good side. Eventually, Rasputia one day brings Norbit to her house, where he meets her three brothers, Big Black Jack, Blue, and Earl, intimidating bodybuilders who are gangster of town, and although the whole town fears them, Norbit begins to see them as family. As time passes, Norbit grows up and starts doing bookkeeping for Rasputia's brothers, and eventually the day comes when Norbit is forced to marry Rasputia, which makes everyone feel sorry for him, because Rasputia has grown even bigger, meaner, and more intimidating, looking almost monstrous in her white wedding dress. But the townspeople pretend she's beautiful and tell Norbit he's lucky, even though the priest is horrified during the wedding ritual, when Norbit hesitates to kiss her. So Rasputia grab him and kiss him aggressively for an uncomfortably long time, while Rasputia's brothers clap with pride, and Mr. Wong sits there watching the whole thing like it's a nightmare. Afterward, the Big Black Jack threatened Norbit to never upset Rasputia, warning him that if she ever cries or even looks unhappy, it'll be his last breath.
Welcome to the family. Thank you.
And during the celebration, Wong jokes that Norbit always dreamed of marrying a princess, but ended up with someone who looks like Gorilla.
I joke.
And the wedding continues with Norbit entering a life he never wanted. After the wedding, when Rasputia arrives at her house, she orders Norbit to carry her over the threshold, but even though he tries with all his strength, he can't lift her. So she storms inside on her own, and later she comes out in a sexy outfit and jumps on him, crushing the bed instantly as their nights continue like that. Time passes, and Rasputia becomes so large that even the neighbor's dog barks every time it sees her, so she yells at the poor animal constantly, and she's now so big she barely fits into her car, forcing herself into the seat until the car squeals under her weight. Yet she still blames Norbit and insists he's the one adjusting her seat, slapping him whenever he tries to explain the truth. Meanwhile, her three brothers visit Mr. Wong and try to buy the orphanage, but Wong refuses because he knows they will use it for illegal activities. So they threaten to kill him until Wong pulls out a weapon and tells them he isn't like the rest of the scared townspeople, which makes them back off since everyone knows Wong is crazy enough to do anything. Later, Rasputia decides to join a dance class with other women because she wants to lose weight. But she gets tired quickly and convinces the dance instructor to come to her house for private lessons, and he agrees. The next day, Norbit comes home early from work and hears strange noises coming from the bedroom, and when he goes inside, he finds Rasputia being intimate with the dance instructor, but the instructor panics and lies, saying he was only teaching Rasputia to dance without clothes so she could see his muscles and get inspired to lose weight before running away. Rasputia then pretends nothing happened and denies everything, even though Norbit saw it with his own eyes. And when Norbit finally snaps and yells at her, she chases him through the house, smashing everything in her path as Norbit barely escapes and angrily throws his wedding ring away, realizing he can no longer tolerate being beaten, insulted, manipulated, and now cheated on. And feeling heartbroken, he returns to the orphanage. That night, he performs a puppet show for the children, hoping it will lift his mood. only to unexpectedly reunite with Kate, his childhood friend. When Norbit talks to Kate after all these years, he learns she sold her clothing business in Atlanta and is planning to buy the orphanage using that money because Mr. Wong, who spent his entire life raising orphaned kids, is now old and wants to retire. So he's happy the place might go to someone good. Norbit and Kate stand under the old tree and remember how, as children, they declared themselves husband and wife right there. And afterward, Kate heads back to the city, promising to return on Tuesday, leaving Norbit excited and counting the days. And when Tuesday comes, the dance instructor returns to Rasputia's house for lessons, so Norbit acts extra friendly and tells him there's beer in the fridge and to relax while teaching, which confuses the instructor. But Norbit just wants to keep him distracted so he can go out. However, when Norbit arrives at the restaurant to meet Kate, his happiness crashes because she isn't alone. She's with her fiancé, Deion, a slick real estate agent she plans to marry soon, and learning this breaks Norbit's heart. The next day, Rasputia drags Norbit out to a picnic, and when they come home, she sees the neighbor's dog again and gets so angry she hits the poor dog with her car just because it barks at her, sending it to the hospital and making Norbit feel awful. So he finally packs his things, ready to leave Rasputia forever because he knows she's selfish, cruel, and heartless. But as he's walking out, she screams that he'll have nowhere to live and then suddenly lies that she's pregnant with his child to stop him, which makes Norbit freeze and stay. The next day, they go to a carnival where Kate arrives with Deion, and Norbit, trying to impress Kate, introduces her to Rasputia. And Kate is kind and compliments Rasputia, but Rasputia rudely snaps at her, then later admits to Norbit she lied about being pregnant just to keep him from leaving, crushing him even more. Meanwhile, Kate meets Rasputia's brothers and tells them she's buying the orphanage, shocking them because Wong refused to sell it to them but agreed to sell it to her. Later, Rasputia spots Norbit dancing with Kate and angrily throws a box at him, knocking him unconscious and sending him to the hospital, where Kate visits him. While Deion, who doesn't want a life caring for orphan kids, tries to ditch her, but Rasputia's brothers stop him, and once they learn the truth about Deion, decide to team up with him, planning to build a bar on the orphanage land, and Deion quickly agrees, managing to trick Kate into signing the transfer papers and convincing her to marry him that Sunday. The next day, Kate invites Norbit to the water park, but Rasputia catches him trying to sneak out and forces herself to come along. And once they're there, she immediately starts mocking Kate for being skinny, even though Kate has never insulted Rasputia and always called her beautiful. Later, when Rasputia sees Kate going down a water slide and notices Norbit admiring her, she rushes to the slide too, but the instructor warns there's a 300-pound weight limit, and Rasputia lies that she's only 165 pounds, which the instructor clearly doesn't believe but lets her go anyway. And when she pushes off, her weight makes the entire slide shake, break through the wooden wall, and launch her straight into the kiddie pool, splashing out all the water and terrifying a little girl who thinks she's about to be crushed, leaving Norbit completely embarrassed. The following day, when Kate asks Norbit to meet again, he doesn't want Rasputia coming, so he lies and tells her he needs some stationery supplies, and Rasputia snaps that she's not his servant and he can get it himself, exactly what Norbit hoped for, so he happily goes to meet Kate. They spend more time together, and Kate even teaches him how to ride a bicycle properly, something she couldn't finish in childhood. But one day, as Norbit is heading out to meet Kate again, Rasputia's brothers stop him and hand him papers, ordering him to get Kate's signature, saying it's just a construction permit and threatening to break his legs if he doesn't cooperate. And after spending time with her, he gets her to sign them. Meanwhile, Rasputia's youngest brother informs her that Norbit went to the restaurant with Kate, and she explodes with jealousy and rushes to find him. But Norbit and Kate have already gone to the church, where, at the father's request, Kate practices for her upcoming wedding ceremony, and Norbit helps her, confessing his true feelings and telling her how much he loves her before kissing her. Rasputia arrives just in time to see them kissing, but her car crashes in rage, while Kate, overwhelmed and confused by Norbit's confession, runs off trying to figure out what to do, with Norbit following after her. But Rasputia searches the church and finds no one there. When Norbit finally makes it back home, he hands the signed papers to Rasputia's brothers without realizing what they really are, and then Rasputia storms in, beats him badly, and threatens that if she ever catches him talking to Kate again, she'll ruin Kate's face. Then, as punishment, she locks Norbit in the basement to clean. Meanwhile, Deion tells Kate that Norbit tricked her into signing transfer papers for the orphanage, so Kate, furious and hurt, goes to confront Norbit. But Norbit realizes Rasputia is listening from upstairs and yells loudly that he loves only his wonderful wife and never wants to see Kate's face again, which devastates Kate, and she leaves in anger. Later that night, Norbit finds solid proof that Deion is a con man and calls Kate to tell her. But she's still upset and hangs up on him, so Norbit goes to her house, but Rasputia and her brothers catch him sneaking out and lock him in the basement again, planning not to let him attend Kate's wedding the next day. However, Norbit is determined to warn her, so he escapes through a window and races toward the church on a bicycle, while one of Rasputia's brothers calls her to report his escape, sending Rasputia and the other two brothers speeding toward the church to stop him. And at the same time, Mr. Wong and the orphanage kids disrupt the wedding by dancing and singing to stall for time. On the road, Norbit encounters Rasputia and her brothers, who try to block him from reaching the church, and Rasputia is shocked to see him riding a bike since he never knew how. Proudly, Norbit tells her that Kate taught him, which makes Rasputia burn with jealousy as she grabs him by the throat. But when a car comes toward them, she lets go, causing Norbit to lose balance and tumble into the woods, landing in a shallow puddle before he picks himself up and keeps running toward the wedding on foot. Meanwhile, back at the church, Deion gets irritated with all the singing and dancing and snaps that he's ready to get married right now. But just as the ceremony starts, Norbit bursts in and stops the wedding, declaring his love for Kate in front of everyone. At that exact moment, Rasputia and her brothers storm into the church, and Rasputia demands to know what he just said. But for the first time, Norbit isn't scared and tells her straight to her face that he's not afraid anymore, that he loves Kate, and that the only reason he stayed with Rasputia was because she terrified him, but now he wants to live his life like a normal person. Then Norbit exposes Deion, telling everyone that Deion is a fraud who plans to marry Kate only for her money, that he has scammed several women before, has multiple wives and children, and is working with Rasputia's brothers to destroy the orphanage. But Deion interrupts and claims Norbit is making it all up just to ruin the wedding. Norbit tries to show the evidence he collected, but it got destroyed when he fell into the water. So instead, he brings in all of Deion's former wives and children, who explain how Deion married them, stole their money, and abandoned them, shocking Kate and everyone else, and she finally refuses to marry him. Enraged, Rasputia and her brothers charge at Norbit to kill him, but the entire town comes together to defend him, forming a human shield and fighting back until they overpower Rasputia and her brothers and drive them out of the church. Then Kate steps toward Norbit under the same symbolic tree inside the church decoration, kisses him in front of everyone, and agrees to marry him, bringing joy to the whole town and finally giving Norbit the happy ending he always deserved. After the town defeats Rasputia and her brothers, the story wraps up by showing that Rasputia and his brothers flee far away to Mexico, where they open a nightclub and finally start living their dream life. And all the dance skills Rasputia learned earlier actually come in handy because she becomes one of the dancers at the bar, using her moves to entertain the crowd and attract customers.